Alright, we're just going to go through the three main circuits on the carburetor. This is a set of 32s off of stock 700. This is a Canadian version with the cold weather primer. You guys probably wouldn't have seen that, eh? I got some of the screws out for the bowl, just make it a little quicker. These screws here, gotta be careful with them, they're like butter. Strip them out. This is the bolts that a lot of guys change out with the Allen key heads. Take the bowl off. Nothing in there other than your O-ring. Make sure that stays there in its good shape. Okay, here's the fuel screw. That one there you want roughly 2.5 turns out. You can turn it in, lightly seat it, turn it out 2.5, out to 3.5 max. Main jet, pilot jet. Main jet, change that out, just remove it, small round key in, and based on your air fuel ratio you're getting, you may want to go bigger or smaller. I have a small selection here to choose from to get my air fuel right, so I'll just pick a larger one or a smaller one. Reinstall the one I believe I need. There's a pilot jet right there. These ones are 40s. Lots of guys run up to 42 or larger. Now there's a pilot jet. When guys on the forum talk about, you know, leaving old fuel in there and they gum up, this is one of the, you have to pay special attention to this one. You got to clean all these holes out really well, and then you got to make sure you clean out this one. It's really tiny, and you have to make sure you see light all the way through when you're done. Just hold it up to the light in your garage or whatever, but make sure that's clean. Lots of times guys will think it's clean, put it back in, but there's actually, you know, a small piece of dirt still stuck in there. Reinstall it. Now if your carburetor's all gummed up and dirty and had old fuel and it's sitting there for 6 months or whatever, you're going to want to take the float out. I mean, take all these components out. There's a spring in behind here with a washer. Pay attention to that. Take your float out, take your needle out. The seat's in there, which isn't removable, but I mean it is, but not easily. So you just take your carb cleaner, your compressed air, clean everything out really well in there. I mean every passage, every port. You don't want to spray in. Small hole there. You're just going to want to clean everything really well. All these. So now that we have everything clean, put back together, I mean, things really only go in one place, so you're not going to screw it up if you forget along the way. Okay, now we're going to look at the needle. Again, I have some bolts already taken out. Make sure you hold your thumb over this black cap. There's a spring behind there. If you think it might shoot out and lose a few pieces. Pull it straight out as the spring pushes on it. Nothing behind there. Remove the spring. There's the needle retainer. It usually stays inside. So then you lightly pull on the boot. Remove the slide and the needle. There's basically nothing else left in there to remove. If you notice that little race jet right there, it goes into the carburetor, into this port right here. Pay attention to that it's there and it's in there when you put it back together, or it'll mess with your vacuum reference going to your slide and it won't work properly. Remove the needle. That was just a washer. Now while it's out, you can polish these slides, help them open a little quicker and just prevent them from sticking. So right now I have dyno jet needles in this carburetor. You can tell the slots that you can raise or lower your needle with that C-clip. This is a stock needle. So the stock needle has a built-in hat on it that's not adjustable. So that's where the washers come into play. You go buy a number 4 brass washer from your hardware store. Now these aren't number 4s, they're dyno jet washers. But it's the same principle. So you stick it on your needle. And they're a little thicker than these two. So now putting that underneath the needle actually raises the needle up in the bore, richening your circuit. And if you wanted to lean it out and you have washers on there, then you remove washers. There's you can tell the dyno jet needle is a little sharper table, a little shorter, so you don't have to get on the throttle as much to lift them up higher in the bore. They'll let more fuel pass with the same main jet. Lots of guys don't like these and they can't get them to run properly, but run the stock needle with washers and go with what you know. It'll be fine. And you can put 1 or 2 washers under here if you like. So I'm going to put the dyno jet needle back in. And just the way this one works, 1 washer on the bottom, 1 on the top. Now I'll just put it back in the slide. Put the retainer in. Make sure it's down all the way. Now I'll put it back in the carburetor now. Lots of times, if you're doing this part in the quad, carburetor sits like that. Gravity will pull down on the needle. You can tell there's a little bit of play there, and it might not want to go in to the bore, but it's quite easy. Just slide it in. Make sure it lines up. Slide it in. Make sure that race jet is in there. Install your spring. And then the cap. Now on a set of 36s, this spring is going to be a lot longer. 38s or 37s, as a matter of fact. You want to take and just push it straight in. Make sure that spring doesn't buckle or turn to the side. Now if your name is Roger and the spring is twice as long and you're all thumbs, you can't get it, well, then you can ask me to do it. Then you just push it in straight. Again, if that spring buckles to the side, then you're going to end up with slide problems. Not going to want to open. Hold out with your thumb, keep everything in place, tighten her down. Finish putting the screws in, good to go.